I'm Mike Willete. I'm the executive producer on Invincible Versus here at Quarter Up, Skybound Studio.
So as first question, since some core members of your team worked on Killer Instinct, how much Killer Instinct can people expect from this project?
There's some of that DNA that's in there. There's also some stuff that we've learned over the past decade that we've applied knowledge and experience through all of our other jobs and journeys. But it was really rewarding to come back together and injecting more of these two-way interactions, adding more defensive options, and adding some of that DNA back into Versus, because we really wanted to see what would happen if we took some of these principles and put them in a tag battle fighting game.
Why did you go for a tag battle 3 versus 3?
We went for a tag battle fighting game because we're all really big fans of the show and the series, and there's so many factions that exist. It's like the Teen Team, the Guardians of the Globe, the Viltrumites. There's so many groups who are just and they all fight together. So we're this is a really cool expression of that. And we like the creativity that is afforded to you of building your own kit, choosing characters that have different capabilities, and mixing and matching and seeing what creative output do you get, what cool combos, what setups. It's all really appealing and fun, and that's really led us down this path of becoming a tag battle fighting game.
Is your aim focused on esports and competitive players, or is it also easy to get into for casuals?
Our aim is to be tournament quality and is an expression of brutal superhuman fighting, but we want it to be accessible for new players. We want them to come in and feel like a badass. As we demonstrated earlier, and I showed you the auto combo system, it's we want you to understand the principles of the how the combo series works, how tagging works, how you can integrate these concepts together with defense, and then when you get comfortable, then you can start doing more advanced things. So it's figuring out how to do mix-ups and calling in your assists and extending combos, and figuring out how to reduce the combo meter and cheat it and try to go a little bit past it using boosted moves. So we want something for everybody, so that initial entry point is with that auto combo system, but eventually it turns into the depth and going into training modes in the lab and figuring out what are the cool optimal paths and mixing and matching members of your team to get really cool results.
You mentioned some unique interactions between the characters. Did you wrote all of them yourself that didn't come up in the series, or did you work together with the creators to approve it? Is this right when this character says this to the other one?
So with a lot of our narrative and our lore, some of it's taking directly from references in the comics in the show, and then our narrative director Mike Rogers, we're working with him on saying hey, what's a cool intro and outro, and working with Helen Lay, who's also a writer on the show and for our game, of what is the best expression of this scenario, because it might not have happened. What happens in this game doesn't necessarily happen in the show or the comic. There might be two characters that have never interacted before, but here's this new opportunity for them to have an interaction. So we wanted to really express that in the best way possible and be authentic with how they would actually react. So we've been giving a lot of leeway to come up with those dream scenarios.
Since the universe is so vast with so much characters popping in and popping out of the series and the comic, how did you pick your characters for the final roster?
Picking for the roster, we really wanted to express fan favorites, so we try to get those in to the roster, but then we also looked at who has really cool mechanics and would be really interesting to play as. So it's a combination of both of those factors as we start to develop the roster.
Is there a solo mode planned, or something like a campaign?
We plan to have single-player modes and multiplayer modes, but we're going to talk about those in the future.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
What makes the game stand out the most, would you say, from other fighting games? Which feature?
For me, it's a combination of features that really make Versus stand out. One, you look at this beautiful art style, and you're not expecting it to be as violent as it is and bloody, so it really grabs your attention. But for me, it's really about the unique interactions. It's about our combo system, about how you can go from normal attack chains into special moves, and any special move that doesn't knock down, go right back into attack chains and try to fill up this combo meter with as much awesomeness as possible, and then manipulating it by like tagging in your teammates or using boosted moves, but then you have to be aware of the resources that your opponent has, because they might try to counter tag when you're doing an active tag, or they might try to break you with an assist breaker. So it's all about the mind games that I think are present here, and those unique offensive and defensive interactions, and everything leading back into that system. As we showed, like, I can active tag off of throws, I can active tag off of heroic strikes. There's all these different opportunities to go into this unique combat system. So for me, like, those are probably two of the biggest ones that, like, really, to me, make us feel unique. And then obviously it's like IP, our authenticity to the IP. And if you love Invincible, we think you're going to love this game. And if you've never experienced Invincible, I think this is also a great entry point that's going to make you really love these characters and want to go back to the comics and back to the show.
The source material is very gory. Are you embracing this, or are there any restrictions you have to, like, we can't do that, or this is too much for a video game? Or
there's no real restrictions on what we're doing as far as being authentic to the IP. We really want to like be a reflection of what happens when superheroes fight. And it's not gore for the sake of gore. It's to demonstrate the brutality of, like, this is what happens when you fight a Viltrumite or fight someone like Battle Beast. These are the stakes that are involved. And so the stakes from the comic and the show, we want to be authentic and reflect those in the best way possible. Now, with that said, and we did announce this at EVO, we're going to have a creator mode, so it'll disable basically overkills. So the offensive, defensive blood maps, all the chunky stuff where, like, heads are getting blown off and arms get torn off, and that's so you won't get demonetized when you're creating content. And so that's a filter that's locally applied to your game.
Maybe this final question, can you give some behind-the-scenes details about the studio? Like,
sure.
The scope of the studio and your...
Yeah, Quarter Up is 40 to 50 very passionate people, and we work with co-devs. And, like, our whole goal, again, is to just make you look and feel like a badass and create the most awesome Invincible game you've played.
Okay, thanks for taking your time. It was great.
Thank you.